All right, people. This the silliness that I promised. I promised you a follow up to it, and I came through. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Good afternoon. Oh man! Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the newsroom, and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, best beverage company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. Stay salty. Let's go. Woo! Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How you guys doing? First things first. I really appreciate people watching the I'll name this segment later. I'll spit this grease, spit that grease, whatever. And I appreciate the names that are being thrown our way. By all means, keep them coming on those things. And I think I've got an idea of what I'm going to do and whatnot. Be like a community effort, so to speak. So I've got something planned. But I appreciate people supporting it. Okay, so if you guys have watched any of those, then you guys know what this is. This right here is basically the follow-up video that's supposed to accompany some of those videos over there. Because some of those are just one-shots, or they're going to be just continuations of me speaking my thoughts. But some of them will have a video that will accompany it. Accompany that, and this is it. Sorry, it's early. In any case, so what are we talking about? DSP thinks his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are cult leaders, which is pretty silly on a variety of fronts or whatnot. Keep in mind, people are people. Anybody is capable of misusing their influence and trust and so on and so forth. Sorry, that happens. But for DSP to say what he said, the way he said it, given his track record, I think some people might be given some grace compared to what Darksydephil has done. In any case, let's go ahead and speak on that just briefly, and then we'll get into the video at hand, and we'll go into one of my favorite segments, which I haven't done in quite a while, actually, but it is one of my favorite segments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. I should clip out that part where, what was it, the beginning of GTA, like the last GTA series I think DSP did? It might have been GTA, where he said welcome home or whatever. I should clip that and use that as the intro to TED Talk. Ooh, that sounds like a great idea. I'll think about it. In any case,
we have 1,000 viewers on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. 1,000 viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome home. Welcome back. Welcome home. Thank you for being here for this very special time. I know that when I returned to GTA, I knew it was going to be something special, and here we are. I'm sure the second I start playing, all of you will leave, but that's fine. Thank you for being here. Shout out,
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my TED Talk. So, DSP, there's not a person active. There isn't an active detractor that hasn't had the influence, sway, and maybe in a lot of ways, was nearly as threatening as Fred Fox and SOK. I should do a video on that. Surprised I haven't, actually. There's nobody that's held the type of influence that that dude has had. You know what I'm saying? At one time or another. Up until, you know, he got himself out of there. Basically being the scapegoat, if you really look at that situation. Don't get me wrong, he deserves a lot of the shit that's on him because he facilitated a lot of it. But there's no one that's hold the amount of power and sway that Freddy Boy did. Period. Period. So the fact that DSP is out here pissing vinegar and gout, probably diabetes too now that I think about it, about the fact that every detractor is a cult leader. They're just misusing their audience. They're taking money out of his hooves. They're taking food out of his wife's snout or whatever, out of her mouth and out of Jasper's mouth and whatnot. And he would have the positive, fruitful, thriving community if it wasn't for his detractors. That makes no goddamn sense, being that the majority of those people, you ain't sat there in exile. So now you saw them go somewhere else, give money somewhere else, build up other people, and now you think, oh, well, if you dumbasses had done that the first time, I wouldn't have kicked you out in the first place. That's essentially what he's saying. He's just going ahead and using the cult leader situation. Now, I've heard people say, is it possible that this is is this targeted towards Duty? I mean, yeah, probably. If Duty actually had that influence, he has sway over people, sure, but he doesn't. DSP is giving him far too much grace to think that Duty can move the Mercury in the way that DSP is trying to make it sound. To be honest, I mean, truth be told, that's probably the reason why he didn't tie Duty's name to it. He could have, maybe he should have, but Duty doesn't restream though either. It's very I don't watch Duty, but it's very rarely that I've heard that that dude restreams. So if he's going after restreamers directly, then we're talking about the usual suspects. You've got Dark Dave Mirrors, big ups. You've got Raw Phil, big ups. You've got Almighty Tevin, big ups. You've got you've got James the Lesser. You got Agent Proper. You have, that being said, well, I guess you got Alt. Now that I think about it, because he does his stream watch-alongs. And then there's like a dozen others. Now that I think about it, there's a bunch of people who actually do it. Big ups to all of them. So theoretically, I think he's trying to target the community as a whole than singling out one person, because DSP is ego-driven. If he gives too much to Duty, he thinks he's going to build him up to be something. He thinks he'll be built up to the point where he'll become far stronger to where he won't be able to squash him, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because he can't really squash Duty now anyway. Matter of fact, and I've got the videos coming out for those too, DSP was damn near begging him and Alt to sit there and donate to the content so they can keep doing Smart Guys and they can keep doing Grill Phil. So which one is it? Are your detractors as a whole, are they all cult leaders, or are they all potential piggy banks for you and PvP to take advantage of? Which one is it? Like, don't worry, I got videos coming up on it. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in itself. So DSP trying to demonize while trying to empower someone, he's not built for that. He never really was, to be honest with you. So that kind of falls short. But in any case, whatever. I mean, whatever it is to get it across to the dents that detractors are far more dangerous than what they perceive to be. The reality is that DSP doesn't want anybody else jumping ship. That's really what it comes down to. He doesn't want anybody else jumping ship. He doesn't want anybody else to become turncoats, Benedict Arnolds, if you will. That's what he wants at this point, because he knows he can't stop detracting, right? Like, let's remove detractors, trolls, haters, and critics for a second. The concept of detracting, he can't stop that. He can't mitigate it. He can't do anything. You know what I mean? It's going to always exist, whether it's the current crop that he has or the next group. So that's never going to end. All he can do is try to convince the people who follow his dumbass to please don't do this. You're hurting me. You're hurting my family. You're going to hurt my business. We're all going to starve, as if Cat doesn't have enough reserves to last the two of them for a good amount of time. Anyway, so please don't. Just please don't do that. I want you to see them as mentally ill. I want you to see them as fucking losers and incels and all that silly shit. And you guys don't want to be like that, do you? Which is ironic, because the very behavior he puts on detractors, trolls, haters, and critics is the very behavior that they exhibit over there. So it's okay if it's to your benefit, but if it's not, damn us all to hell. I roger that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's not, you know what I'm saying, let's not hold off any longer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let's just go ahead and get into the clip itself. Well, that's a video. I clipped it myself because I'm a big boy now. I'm a big pup now. And it's part of a larger piece, but that's for another video. But I cut out I have some select cuts that I thought would be succulent, if you will. As succulent as expired bacon can be, at the very least. And you can hear the madness for yourself, to be honest with you. Like, why should I hold you guys from it? You should hear it on your own. Let's see here.
Aim.
All right. We're here with one of our favorites and whatnots, Raw Phil. Big ups them. And as you can see, this is from February 4th of 2025. Take it all in. Take it all in, because this shit's gonna get silly. It's gonna get silly fast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're all locked in. So make sure we don't have any echoes or anything. Here we go.
Or is it just who can actually show up for a stream? Because honestly, it is a good variety of people who support my content. It's not what the detractors say, because they're morons. They're under the impression
I thought you don't listen to your detractors. You don't care about anything they say, yet you keep bringing them up and you know everything that's going on. And at this point, you might as well get Duty's fucking emblem tattooed on the fucking one of your butt cheeks. You know what I'm saying? The way that you try to wipe your ass with him. So you might as well go ahead and done that. I don't understand, bro. For someone who says he's above it all and he has the thickest skin on the internet and he knows better not to feed the trolls, and yet we're constantly feeding the trolls. I don't get it.
One person supports all my content. I'm not kidding you. They're that brain dead crazy. They're in this weird cult that legitimately believes one person impersonates like 40, 50, 60 different accounts.
Oh, that's cute. You're trying to give an example. The reality is, though, is that multiple whales that he has or has had at any given time have done donations, large or small, under all accounts. That's a well-known and a proven fact. Shit, I'll be honest with you. For the longest time, I thought Iron Chef Sakai was just another only iced coffee fucking alt. To be honest with you, matter of fact, didn't Iron Chef Sakai just get caught lacking? Like literally the other day, it was like, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember now. But someone was talking about a snack box. Right? And then later on that night, Irish Chef Sakai mentioned the exact same thing, which is weird that two separate people would speak about the same damn box. That seems kind of wild. Or it might have been the other way around. It might have been the inverse. I apologize. But it might have been the inverse. The point being is you had two people talking about the exact same damn thing in the exact same damn way on two separate streams in the same day. That seems more than a coincidence. Just saying. I mean, I understand there are a bunch of weirdos over there who are into their little gay furry fantasies and all kinds of other silly shit that they're into. I mean, whatever makes you feel good, I guess. But that seems strange that we're sitting there broadcasting the exact same snack box in the exact same day on two separate streams. That just seems kind of suspicious.
And comes to my streams and just supports this. It's the same person doing it under different names. I wish I was making that up. But that's how fucking nuts they are. That's how far gone they are. They actually believe that.
How is that far-fetched, though? You're the one, you've said it yourself, that, hey, if you don't feel safe donating to me under your account name, be anonymous. So under that conclusion alone, or through that statement, I should say, you've encouraged people to go ahead and change their names or do whatever when they tip you, right? Even though he can see your information no matter what. Don't get that twisted. Don't get that messed up. But you've said, hey, if you want people to go ahead and tip you anonymously, they can do so. Under those premises, the same person could tip under multiple false names if they choose to, and you're not going to care. Yeah, just because you can tell doesn't mean the audience can't, and that's where the manipulation comes into play. Because I'll be damned if you sit there and say that you have all these unique viewers who tip you or contribute to you or donate to you, whatever, when you know damn well that you've encouraged those same people to go ahead and give fake names so they don't get targeted by supposedly mentally ill idiots like myself. Huh? So how is it far-fetched? You got a mentally ill person who's sitting here calling other people mentally ill in a practice that he himself has encouraged. Make it make sense. While he sips his fucking flavored seltzer water like he's drinking coffee. How dare you? How dare you? You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a mug or whatever that fucking Stein or whatever bullshit you used to go ahead and sip your little pissy water out of and shit. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Or use that fucking, what is that? Damn it. It's not a mug. Use that bottle that you have on the floor that you keep your gin in or whatever, or your tequila or whatever the fuck that you're drinking. Drink out of that shit. Don't be fucking drinking out of a mug like you're a big kid in this shit. You look fucking silly as hell.
So, yeah, I will admit, are there people who are regulars who come by and every once in a while will drop a big contribution and it helps the stream out a ton? Absolutely.
Isn't that a given though? Yes, regulars will come by and donate to help us reach our goals. Yeah, isn't that a given? So what point are you trying to make about that? Is this you basically saying, oh, those allegations that are against me, that's bullshit. But but I will admit, this is what happens. You mean the same thing that happens on a regular basis anyway? What was the point of that? Like, what were you trying to prove saying that? Oh, normal people come to my streams, or sorry, None of them are normal, to be honest. I don't think anybody's normal in this situation. But regulars of my content who intake or absorb my content come to my content sometimes and support me. Okay. And then what? Like, what's the point of that? Oh, shit.
Is that what happens every single stream? Absolutely not. Not at all. That's, you know, there is a good variety of people that come by and support over different games, different times, and sometimes they'll show up for a game, sometimes they won't. So, last night...
Wait, we're not done yet, bitch. First things first. So, yeah, the people do come by to help contribute to the goal. Does it happen all the time? No. No, of course it doesn't happen all the time, because you went on like a three-day drought where you didn't hit any of the goals, which led to PPP on Smart Guys episode 5 to sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to still take my half of what we made on the show, but use the combination, no, not combination, use the total of what we raised on the show to go towards your marathon goal. So he had already given you pity because you're pathetic, so why not, and whatnot. And then you're the one that's sitting here and fucking basically stressing the fuck out like a crackhead, talking about, hey guys, we need to hit this goal, we need to hit this goal, we need to hit this goal. I really need to have this marathon done by Friday, which that nonsense has already fucked you over when it came to the vestry, and you still ain't learned nothing, but whatever. We have to hit this thing by Friday, or if not, you know, I don't want to push everything back because next week there's going to be all these big releases, and you guys want to see all the big releases. No one wants to see any of the big releases. If you go back and look at his channel and all the big releases that came in 2024, if you can find a video that broke 20,000, then by all means, given the size of his channel, that's 10%, right? He's at 200,000+. So if he can't pull, well, yeah, 10%. If he can't pull 10% of his viewership, that should tell you something. That's kind of a problem, especially for a channel of his size. With that being said, then let's go ahead and talk about how he sat there and held that cake hostage. It's funny how initially, oh, guys, the cake is gonna be on this day. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it was who bought it for him, they allowed me to pick the day that it gets delivered. I chose this day. We need to hit the goal. For 3 days, I think it was like 2 or 3 days, they didn't hit the goal. Then all of a sudden, oh, well, now the cake's going to be delayed, guys, after he had sat there and got his ass grilled about his freezer and his refrigerator. And people were like, hey, man, if you bought all that food from Costco, right, and you're eating this food daily, there should be plenty of room for this cake when it shows up. No, it's not going to work that way, man, because, you know, what about days I don't feel like cooking? The instant pizzas that you have in there, the ramen that you have in there, excuse me, those bison burgers, which that's just him falling for the gimmick because he's a fucking lifetime consumer. He's a fucking NPC when it comes to that shit. You have those. How is it that you have a freezer full of food? You have 2 people. First off, that's a lot of food for just 2 people, to be honest with you. But whatever. You have 2 people in that house who eat on the regular as far as I know. And you're saying that nothing in that freezer is going to move over the next week, given when that cake is supposed to arrive. And then, ironically enough, ladies and gentlemen, not only before he showed us the refrigerator and the freezer, but also afterwards, they were still ordering DoorDash. Oh, I don't feel like cooking these bison burgers. My neck hurt because his bra's too tight, right? Because his tits are almost as big as his wife's, right? Or roommate, whatever. And he's like, oh, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to flip these burgers, man. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Oh, not on the pan, bro. I might drop the pan. The fuck you need to be holding the pan for anyway, bro? Have that shit centered, flip your burgers once, and that's, well, probably should flip it twice, actually. I know they say you should only flip it once, but if you want to make sure that it's, like, cooked through. And let's be honest, he's someone who probably cooks his burgers well done anyway. He's not cooking it to, like, medium. And if he was going for medium well, he would just burn them anyway. So, whatever. Semantics. Like, we don't need to get into having a culinary class on that shit, right? Not right now. But, it's very clear that if you couldn't cook them, the cat could have cooked them. So what's the problem? You were cooking turkey burgers back in 2017, half drunk, when Panda left your bitch ass, but now you got a little pinch in your neck, you know what I'm saying, and your back hurt, and your bra too tight. Now all of a sudden we can't go ahead and do any of that. We can't even flip burgers. Bison burgers. We can't even flip bison burgers. Okay. All right, my guy. Here's the point. So he sat there and tried to speed up the timetable to hit these goals over this cake shit. That didn't work. And it's not like Cat's not going to, he's going to only have a slice or 2 of it. and then Kat's gonna end up finishing it. You know what I'm saying? And if she doesn't finish it, if she does show some type of restraint or some type of control, she'll cut the rest of that shit up and wrap it up in something and then put it in the freezer where there's plenty of room for it. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that the food goes bad in that house. They'll sit there and stock the fridge and the freezer and then just order DoorDash for the next week or so. And that's why shit gets thrown out. On top of the fact that, when's the last time DSP had maintenance on that refrigerator? You don't think that he doesn't get fucking tipsy at night? He doesn't close the damn thing all the way? There's all kinds of reasons on why shit could have gone bad. Semantics. Semantics. The point being is that how are you going to call people mentally ill? How are you going to criticize people when you yourself exhibit these weird ass, out of place, out of touch type of behaviors? Make it make sense.
That people would want to see, but you notice that there's no support for it because these people are so ingrained and brainwashed to think I have to watch this content on an illegal restreamer and not support Phil.
How's it illegal? And then if people, I guess what he's trying to say, I cut it there for a reason. So he's trying to say that everybody wants to see the Grill Phil segment, but everybody would rather go to the restreamers than watching it directly. And no one wants to support it. So he's basically saying, not only you guys not giving me the views for this segment that you allegedly want, but you're not paying us either. So what's the point in doing it? Huh? But if it wasn't for the restreamers, there wouldn't be the interest. And truth be told, in these parts of the woods, most detractors with common sense don't give you money. So why would you even expect that? Why is that even a thing? How's that even an expectation? You expect your ops to give you and PPP money so PPP can grill you? Or Triple P, as I like to call him. That don't make sense. Triple P is going to do that on his own. Hence the reason why he started doing it. He wasn't looking for any real... I don't think PPP was looking for any money for it. I think he was doing it to amuse himself. I think he was doing it because he likes to see him on DSP uncomfortable. And also call him out on his lies, which PPP already knows that he's lying to him. So since when do detractors, trolls, haters, and critics have to contribute to your humiliation fucking fetish? What sense does that make?
You're so ingrained and brainwashed to think I have to watch this content on an illegal restreamer and not support Phil, even though supporting Phil would actually keep the content coming that they want.
That's not true, because if you do stonewall Grill Phil, then the show's going to get shorter because PPP is just going to want to get through it. PPP is already like 70+% of the show anyway, so you have nothing to bring to the table. And then more importantly than that, he's eventually going to lose interest, which is going to cause Smart Guys 2.0 to die out anyway. He's the one that's holding all the cards, and all you're doing is putting even more cards in his hand. On top of that, if PPP still wants to amuse himself, he'll just take zingers at you in between matches. So it still doesn't change anything. At the end of the day, PPP will get what he wants sooner than later. And you trying to fucking defend this fragile little ego that don't mean a goddamn about a goddamn doesn't change anything. You're only hurting yourself. The fact that you're being so pathetic that you want your opposition to pay you is the wild part. How desperate are we getting? How much do you owe Amazon on that layaway program or whatever the fuck it is? Get now, pay later program. How much do you owe these people? Because now I'm starting to think that the monthly, how do I word this? I think the monthly obligations for that is starting to get to what those credit card payments were starting to look like back in 2017. For those of you who know, you know. I think that's what it is. He ain't overextended himself to keep up with the bullshit lifestyle, which isn't even a lifestyle. It's just two fucking mentally ill people in a house eating themselves to death, not even traveling, not even going out and doing anything interesting, just living a fucking useless, pathetic lifestyle that gets them nowhere. And both of their healths are going down the fucking drain. Both of them mentally are fucking cracking the fuck up. Also, they can do what? So Kat can continue to exist in this loveless, fruitless relationship, if you want to even call it that. And so DSP can fucking dunk on detractors, trolls, haters, critics on a daily basis while begging more successful content creators to give him a chance. If you're not funny to if you're not funny to laugh at, then they're just going to ignore you. So no one stopped targeting Phil. Those very people that he's speaking on were there absorbing the funny content when it was funny. Now that DSP wants to be a mature kid now, or a grown man, or a mature adult, or whatever the fuck, he's become boring and lame. As well as the autistic fucking setup light show that we have going on that doesn't prove anything. He cares more about the lights than the actual quality of the content, which I thought those lights, the 2PC setup, all the changes with the camera and shit, was supposed to make the content better. I thought it was supposed to present, he was trying to present himself as an actual professional. This shit doesn't seem professional. Asking your hate watchers to give you money to do stuff, why would you want that? If Smart Guys is really going to turn into something legitimate, or has the potential to turn itself into something legitimate, you're going to take 1 hour out of what is potentially a 2-hour plus show and say, well, you know, hey, if you guys don't want to support this segment right here, then screw it and don't say shit to me. So then when the show finally dies, I still say it'll make it to WrestleMania. I honestly believe it will make it to WrestleMania. But if the show dies after WrestleMania because PPP is not having a good time and he's just going through the fucking motions, whose fault is that going to be? You can't put that on people like myself. I wasn't going to pay for it in the first place. Are you going to put that at PPP? Triple P, as I like to call him. He's the one that was doing it for his own amusement, on top of the fact that I think they moved it to the beginning of the actual show, or podcast, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, to give people time to kind of drum in or kind of roll in to the stream. You know, 45 minutes, an hour of some banter, this, that, and the third, and then they can lead into the wrestling shit. It makes sense when you think about it. I mean, Jesus Christ, they call them waiting rooms on Twitch, and I think on Kick too. But on Twitch, they're trying to, if it's not illegal, it's not illegal, but if you're not allowed to do that, supposedly. But, because in the political sphere, you had people like Denim and, what's that Java the Hutt looking shit? Frogger or Frogger, whatever, Frogger. they used to do waiting rooms leading up to the Hassan streams, which gave them a whole shitload of exposure. And then when Hassan came live, there you go. Now he already have, like, you know, 20, 30,000 people waiting to jump in. I'm exaggerating the numbers, but you get what I'm trying to say. So PPP was doing the same thing. It was essentially a pre-show. So now he's going to kill that so he can get right to the wrestling that he knows little to nothing about. And then they're going to get even less money. Even less. And if we go by that notion, then realistically, if we go by that notion and DSP is like, well, if they weren't going to give me any extra money anyway, then who gives a shit? He should have the right to drop the show. Fair enough. Why are you streaming 6 days a week, bruh? Because he'll tell you, oh, well, I have to stream 6 days a week because I really need the money because I have a household, I got a business, center. Fuck all that. Truth be told, he would make the exact same amount of money in 4 or 5 days as he would in 6. All he's doing is burning other people out, the audience in particular. End of story. That's why the donations get less and less and less, and that's why there was more and more whale calls. If he had sat there and just dialed that shit back a little bit, excuse me, you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't fucking drive all of his fucking dents into the sovereignty. But instead, he's so greedy, he's so stupid, that he sits there and he wants to be in front of you every waking minute because he's scared that you're going to forget about him. That's really what it comes down to. It's not even really about financial greed, it's about his ego. He thinks if he can stay in your face for as long as possible, someone will recognize him and probably give him a shot. On top of that, it's the best way to keep you in pocket. He wants to talk about cult leaders. That's the best way to keep the pignosis on people, by staying in their face. How do you control a community, ladies and gentlemen? You become the community. So that's why this thought process that, oh, well, is he targeting Duty? He might be, but Duty's not going to change the community by becoming the community. He's got too much on him. So that's not going to happen. Well, DSP is no different. And I don't even know, I would assume Duty's smart enough to know not to do that, but whatever. But DSP is no different. DSP is never going to change the face of gaming or of wrestling or of podcasting by constantly putting himself out there. It don't work. The bar is too damn high. There's too much competition. There's a large quantity of better competition that he's never going to make any waves. He barely makes ripples. He's barely noticed. So instead of holding on to what he has, he's desperate to try to keep, he doesn't see the bigger picture and trying to branch out. If you want people to interview you, And if you want to show that you're a cool guy and not acting like the fucking scorn little bitch that you did with Craig, scorn sounds good. And there's a double, that's a metaphor. There's a double entendre in there too. Now that I think about it, but whatever, you catch it, you catch it. Instead of being a scorn little bitch like you did with Craig, this might show that you have some real character. It might actually show that you can show some acceptance, even if you're faking it, even if you're lying, because an answer's still an answer. It shows that you might be willing to let people banter with you about shit that you've done. And you own up to it, you accept it, everybody gets their laughs, and you move on. So you can't do that. And you never could. So this right here shouldn't surprise anybody. That's why you don't hear any fucking rumblings amongst the Detractor community about, oh, Phil's gonna try to sweat it. No one cares, bruh. It was fun for a little while. If it dies out, it dies out. That's not gonna stop me from doing my fucking Triple P Grill Phil wish list. So that doesn't change anything. So it just, actually all it does is really just shows the wasted potential of it all. Just like you did with that machinima situation with the FGC, where you had a chance to make something of yourself. You could have bridged the gap. You could have done a lot of things back then, bruh. Didn't do it because you couldn't see the bigger picture because you're only focused on yourself. So how the fuck is anybody going to ever give you a chance at anything if you yourself are not willing to put yourself out there and take a chance? You don't have nothing else to lose because you don't have anything anyway. You're in the negative. I've never seen, whatever, sorry, I've lectured long enough. Let's continue.
They don't get that because they've been brainwashed because people manipulate them. People like these restreamers literally are manipulating their audiences on a daily basis to be a cult-like mentality of hate towards me so that their gravy train keeps coming in.
That literally makes no sense either, because if people want to pick up and leave, they'll leave. Same thing they did with you. So the very thing, so you're basically accusing your detractors, trolls, haters, and critics of basically putting under hypnosis and shit, and that's why they keep coming back to the content and engaging with it and not supporting you. The irony is that's the same thing that you're accused of. And given the like I said, if you talk to Proper, he's talked to plenty of dents. He can tell you, he can vouch for me. If you go back and look at the June the King documentary, right? Look at where June actually had a chance to interview some of those people. Listen to those people. Listen to what they were actually saying. He's the problem. He's the issue. He's the one that's demanding and shit. So how are you going to sit there and put the allegations that are on you that are proven? Some of those dents even admitted, yes, I feel like I've been conditioned in some way. I don't want to go as far as grooming, but why not? It wouldn't be the first time DSP's groomed somebody. So they've been groomed and conditioned to do a certain type of thing at a certain time. Why do you think, and I hate to admit to this, but why the fuck do you think that the whale calling and the pig squealing or pig whistling works? Or it works half the time. It used to work all the time, but it works only half the time now. Maybe 40%. Why do you think it actually works? Because he's conditioned them to do it. That's why there's always has to be a crisis. There always has to be an emergency. He always has to be in some type of deficit to get people to come run in to help him. That's why it'll never be enough. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why he needs detractors. He needs detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. He needs the opposition. He needs negativity. Because if he has no enemies, he has no excuses. Then he's just gonna look like the fucking pitiful, pathetic, angry, miserable asshole that he really is. That everybody knows that everybody's already seen or seen glimpses of. And all he's going to do is breed a whole new group of people to not like him. It's a self-fulfilling, it's really a self-fulfilling prophecy of hatred, envy, rejection, all of that. And it's of his own doing. So how are you going to put that shit on anybody when you yourself perpetuate this shit? If you didn't say or do the dumb shit that you do, people wouldn't comment on it, criticize it, dissect it, edit it up or clip it or whatever, and it'd be put out there. This is literally the equivalent of this idiot fighting with his own image in the mirror or in the water. But, obviously DSP is allergic to taking baths and shit. So let's just say a mirror. That's literally arguing with yourself. The the only person who's hurting themselves is you at the end of the day. And that's his problem with detractors. They sit there and they take the mirror and they put that shit up to his motherfucking face. And he can't take it. He can't deal with it. It's not that, oh, I did the thing or I said the thing. It's because people sat there and clipped it and put it out there so other people could see it. But that right there, we start getting into a fallacy with that too. Because you say that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics bring the type of attention to you with a negative spin or with a negative twist. But the truth is, you're also saying that if you didn't have detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, you could say whatever wild ass shit you want and no one would care. So if you think about it from that standpoint, you would have been at a net deficit either which way, because you're admitting that no one watches you of any type of prominence. So you should be able to say whatever you want without any repercussions. But then you say, oh, well, you guys put the spotlight on me. It's negative, and it's your fault that people hate me and the reason why I can't get viewership. Make it make sense. Help me. Somebody please help me on how this all makes sense. I'm hurting right now. Not like It's a Gundam type hurting, because, you know, It's a Gundam has taken quite a bit for our sins, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you don't know. He's gone through quite a bit for our sins. But make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm asking. Make it make sense.
You notice they're all monetized. You notice they all accept
That's a lie. Not everybody's monetized. And there's a lot of people who don't take contributions. So what? Like, why are we lying again? If you're going to sit there and make a point, then make a point and stick to it. But because, oh, that's a great screenshot. But because you're a two-faced piece of shit, because you have to lie to push the narrative, it gives people like me no reason to give you any grace. And it gives people who are going to leave you or who are already ramping up to leave you even more justification to get the hell out.
gravy train keeps coming in. You notice they're all monetized. You notice they all accept contributions. They're not doing it because they feel like this is a true crusade or good thing that they're doing. They're doing it for the money.
But wait a second, if you're putting out meaningful content and you don't care about the money, you don't care about the bag, this, that, and the third, then why do you keep begging for donations each and every day? If you were putting out a meaningful piece of content, right, that people really care about, that people say, oh, your content has saved my life and I was in a bad time or whatever. If that was really true, then why are you begging for contributions? Why are you depending on crowdfunding? If you put out a quality product that there is a demand for, make that make sense. See, he can't explain that to you though. He does, because it's hard for him to admit, oh, well, what I do doesn't actually bring me any money in and it's all begging. See, he can't do that. See, a man or a woman can be honest with themselves. If you know what I'm saying, that's just the thing. If you're a piece of shit though, if you're locked into your own little reality and shit, you're going to go ahead and try to grasp at whatever thing you can. So now you want to go at the money game aspect of it. Okay, I'll play with that. So you're saying that these guys are not real crusaders. Not that I don't think I'm a crusader, to be honest with you. I'm the worst of it. But these people are crusaders. These people are trying to fight the good fight. And they're trying to prove a point, yada, yada, yada. And they're all collecting money, right? And so how is it? So they're already tainted because there's actually a financial motivation behind the shit. But then again, he can't sit there and say, well, what about the people who did this shit for years and did it for no profit? What about the people who still do it and still get no profit? He can't explain those two things. All right, so let's go ahead and move that off the board. And then you're wanting those very people who are doing it for profit, which makes them tainted, by the way. You want them to give you money so you can keep doing the bullshit, so they can keep garnering the donations and contributions, so they can continue to give it to you. So which one is it? Is them getting contributions bad, or is them not giving you any of the contributions bad? I don't understand. Not every detractor, troll, hater, critic is monetized, and at least the ones with common sense are not going to give you money. So I'm confused here a little bit. I don't really understand where we're trying to go with that. I'm not sure the angle that he's trying to pitch from. Seems kind of weird. All right, let's continue.
That's why, you know what I mean? That's it. They're just fucking grifters. They're a bunch of schlubs. And one day the gravy train.
Well, that's weird because you're going to call them all grifters and shit, but aren't you the one who says that you have sponsorship, like you have, or you've had sponsorship opportunities? You've had, partnership opportunities and you didn't take it because you didn't want to advertise something that you didn't believe in. So you decided to continue to push the cost, the financial burden, if you will, onto your own fan base or viewer base or whatever the fuck you want to call it, do you not think that's not a disservice? So let's get things straight for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. The Darksydephil, DSP Enterprises, DSP Industries, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Let's go ahead and go over the business plan. We're too good for sponsorships, endorsements, or partnerships because that's only for shills and sellouts and people who only want to go for the bag and don't want to put out a quality product. We, in turn, put out a quality product, but no one wants to support it. No one wants to... It can't make any money on its own, off of its own merit, right? We put out a product that no one really wants to pay for or support. Step 3. So now we garner donations. We beg for donations, contributions, crowdfunding, if you will, to keep ourselves afloat. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but that sounds ass backwards. If someone's willing to give you a couple $100s or a couple $1,000s to do something that you're already doing, why wouldn't you do it? What do I mean by that? Most of you are like, wait a second, you need to bring that back. What do you mean by that? Let's go back to point number 1. Some of the sponsorships and endorsements, allegedly, that he's been offered were to play games that he was already going to play anyway, or to buy peripherals that he was already going to get, or he eventually ended up getting anyway. So how was it you were not going to do that? You didn't want to be a sellout. You wanted to be the genuine article. You wanted to play your best CM Punk, where you didn't want to be like the industry. You wanted to be a rogue. You wanted to be your own man. To now, you're all the things that you said you were against. What do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? Like I said, look at the lighting. Look at the fucking dual PC setup. Look at the fucking mic stand that he keeps shitting on fucking Review Tech USA for, and your shit's probably more intrusive than his. But fuck both of you, to be honest. DSP has literally become everything he said he didn't want to. He used to shit on people who had all these bells and whistles and all this bullshit. If you come to a Darksydephil stream, he's on record for saying this, you come for the games. You come to watch a real gamer play games. You don't go for all this other bullshit that's going on around you to keep you distracted. Cheap thrills, if you will. And now, look at him. He used to shit on people like Maximilian. He used to shit on people like the Doc. He used to shit on Max. Oh, no, not Max. Fucking Jacksepticeye. What's dude's name? Markiplier. Anybody and everybody who was popular. Ninja. He used to shit on them for all those same things. And now look at him. He ain't sat there and fallen into, quote unquote, the same rabbit hole. And even with all of his, quote unquote, upgrades that people supposedly bought for him, sorry about that, that's not true. He just admitted recently that he didn't, that no one bought any of that stuff for him. He purchased all of his upgrades himself. Let's not put it all out there because, we've been accused of being liars before. So let's go ahead and keep it honest with that. Let's keep everything on the up and up. He says that he's not even at the industry standard, given everything that he has. And because he doesn't have any knowledge or understanding of what he's doing, when this shit eventually breaks, falls apart, we're rolling back Windows updates, all kinds of other retarded shit. When all of that shit flops and falls apart, then what? So you having all of these aesthetics around you, all these peripherals don't mean anything if you don't understand the functionality of them. He's working on everything at a surface level and nothing above that because his understanding isn't there. He basically is doing keeping up with the Joneses. Whatever he has to do or whatever he thinks he has to do to bring himself up to where he believes everybody else is at. But most people can troubleshoot something in 5-10 minutes. It takes him over 2 hours. Most people can sit there and swap mods like that. Sound like a chick with an attitude. And in actuality, they can get it done in a few minutes. Hell, even I can do that. You know what I'm saying? With 7 days, the 7 days to die mods and shit like that. And like Street Fighter, custom Street Fighter mods and shit like that. It takes minutes, if even that long. But it takes this idiot up to 45 minutes to do it. Why would anybody want to pay for that? Why would anybody want to sit around and view that? I'm just asking.
It's gonna end. Whether it's via the law, whether it's via YouTube rules changing, whatever it's gonna be, it ain't gonna last forever.
But that's the same thing he said about Tevin, by the way. Before he got him kicked off of Twitch. He said the exact same damn thing. But here, I want you to hear that gravy train thing again. Because there's projection there, obviously.
whatever it's going to be, it ain't going to last forever, but they're going to grift until then. Whether it's via YouTube rules changing, whatever it's going to be, it ain't going to last forever, but they're going to grift until then. So it's really sad.
Drama is never going to go anywhere when it comes to YouTube, Twitch, or anything otherwise. It's just not a thing. Drama pushes the industry, and you can do drama in anything. And that's why people are so desperate to try to get politics out of it before shit gets crazy, even though it's already crazy, to be honest. But you're never going to be able to stop drama. There's always going to be someone that's going to have something to say about somebody else, and they'll be able to monetize it. It is what it is. And even if they don't monetize it, it'll still be accepted. It'll still be consumed. And it'll continue to be pushed forward. Period. Assholes like yourself are one of the reasons why that's a thing. And then here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. Truth be told. One day, they may very well come for me. They may come for your favorite detractor's favorite detractor. Guess what happens the next day? They eventually come for him. And if you don't believe me, look at the situation with Twitch. Look at what happened. Look what LTG's constantly fighting with. Speaking of which, they had already found out where that dude's at. That's hilarious. They found out where that dude's at. I can't remember if the dude's name is pronounced Emo or Imo 342. My apologies. No disrespect to that dude. But I caught his stream. That dude has a website now. That's how high tech that guy's gotten. He's like, oh, LTG's gonna sit there and try to get me kicked off of every fucking platform. Bitch, I'll just get my own website. You know what I'm saying? If there's a will, there's a way. Anyway, big ups to him. But the fucking someone found his address, or a couple of people I guess did. Whatever, big ups to them. They found fucking LTG's address. They got that shit. And they posted that shit on his stream while he was live. That boy couldn't do nothing. He couldn't say anything, because if he sits there and gives it any attention, he confirms that it is his address. If he don't say anything, it makes him look like a bitch and uncomfortable. God dog, that shit was ruthless. I may do a video on that. That shit was ruthless, because I have to get at him for that academics defense shit anyway. So I'm going to have to go at him on that too. That was crazy how quickly they caught him. That's crazy how they caught him. Anyway, they seem like nice condominiums. And to be honest with you, they seem pretty good. It's definitely a step up for him. So, you know, I don't know if he's swinging the other way and shit. You know, gay for pay or what. I don't know what he's doing, but it's a nice place. It's a nice place. I gotta tell you, you can't pay child support, but you can afford to live in a place like that. At least from what it looks like. I don't know what it costs, but whatever. So that's the thing. That's a thing. Holy shit, that shit was crazy, bro, how they caught that boy lacking. It's crazy how they caught that boy lacking. But anyway, one day, if they do come for people like myself, then the next day they'll come for you. Like I said, look at what happened to LTG. He's constantly fighting that shit on Twitch. Look at what happened to DSP when he got his ass demonetized. Look at what happened to fucking Wings when he got his ass demonetized. Look what happened to Bossman. Well, Bossman Jack was kind of different. It was self-destruction, but it was self-destruction in a different type of way. So that's a little different. But he's back on Twitch now, allegedly. Or at least the last time I saw it, anyway. The point being is that once they get rid of the troublemakers, eventually they're going to get rid of the problem. Look at Aiden Ross, actually. He's a great example as it pertains to Twitch. He was a problem for a long-ass time, and Twitch got him out of there, and they've kept him out of there. Jesus Christ, Aiden's contract is coming due on Kick, and it sounds like he doesn't want to renew. It sounds like he's still desperate to get back on Twitch. And he's banned. He's not demonetized. He's actually banned. And he's fighting his ass off to get back over there, which is weird because I thought he was the one that was leading the campaign to build Kick up. Well, that didn't work after a year or two or however long it's been. So you can sit there and gloat all you want. You can't get rid of Tevin now. You can't get rid of Ann now. You can't get rid of any detractor over there on Twitch. You ain't sat there, packed up, and gone home. You deactivated your account. If you were able to purge people off of YouTube, they go to Twitch. I mean, most detractors dual stream anyway on YouTube and Twitch anyway. If you remove YouTube, they'll go to Twitch and they'll go to Kick. Something happens on Twitch, they'll go to Kick and they'll go to Odyssey or Rumble or whatever. Like, there's always going to be a place to go. And then, like I said, it's either Emo or Imo 342. My bad. I always fuck up the first part of his name. But that dude actually has his website. He has a website now, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing at now. Like, that's where the game is at. You know what I'm saying? That's where the hustle goes. I mean, keep in mind, though, too, he may very well be one of the most successful, or if not the most successful, low LTG fucking detractor or troll, I guess is what they call themselves, trolls over there. troll there is. That dude made $100,000 off of fucking LTG. So you sitting here worrying about duty, you should be scared about that. You should be scared that you have someone with that type of motivation, despite all the platforms he got kicked off of, despite all the goons that LTG tried to send over to him, that dude still went ahead and stayed to the hustle, made $100,000. He's definitely created a milestone as it pertains to restreaming, trolling, whatever. DSP needs to be scared of that. But the truth is, you're not going to see that type of money in this community, though. You know what I'm saying? You see that over there with Wings. You can see that over there with Chris Chan. You probably, I don't think you're going to see something like that in Cobra's verse. You know, that dudes just don't move like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of thing. So DSP should be very fortunate. He should consider himself lucky that he's not playing on the level that some of those other guys are playing on. And trust me, despite what dude lost, as in losing all those different platforms or whatever and having to form his own website, not only does that dude have $100,000 in the bank, big ups to him on that shit, but also, excuse me, in some ways, whether directly or indirectly, he has kneecapped LTG in a way that LTG may not be able to recover from. Whether you know this or not, Low Tier God's been fighting for his original YouTube channel for a while. He'll probably still do it over the next couple of years. Eventually, he might actually get it back. He did the exact same thing with Twitch. So, and he has his Kick channel as a backup, but he don't like it over there. So sooner than later, LTG is going to be back on YouTube on his original account. Sooner than later. But the reality is he's lost so many years by not being on the platform. He's lost so many opportunities by not being able to deal with what was going on around him. It's an industry. Trolling is an industry, ladies and gentlemen. And you just gotta play ball. That's what DSP keeps telling LTG. Oh, well, he won't play ball and do content with me. You're not playing ball either. You had plenty of opportunities to do that too, and you didn't. LTG didn't. It didn't cost him years. Look at fucking Review Tech USA. He ain't lost the whole fucking channel over the shit. It was a dead channel anyway. But he ain't lost the whole channel off that shit. This is the reality, ladies and gentlemen, of what we're in. This shit isn't going to stop. Not till the wheels fall off. And at the end of the day, the people who are speaking the loudest of get rid of these people, get rid of these people, get rid of these people, those are the same people that are going to get got themselves right afterwards. After you get rid of the detractors, after you get rid of the trolls, after you get rid of the haters and the critics, then eventually they come for you. That's how this all works. That's how the system is structured. He'd be wise to think about that. Let's continue.
That there are thousands of people out there that could be potential positive people in this community, but instead they're just sitting there in a cult that literally helps no one but the grifters.
But that's not going to help you because you've already kicked those people out. So what would make you think they would turn around and give you money or support you? Make it make sense. You really see, and this is the dumb shit that fucking Foodie Beauty's going over with right now. In her fight with Yaba or YouTube Underground, French Fry Girl. I'm gonna put the Fat Cow Chronicles in there too. Even though, yeah, actually, Foodie did actually acknowledge her recently. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in there. Garlic Bread or Garlic Bread is in there as well. Like, let's be honest. Foodie Beauty says the exact same bullshit about her trolls or her reactors, I think is what they call them over there. And she thinks that, oh, if the circus ends, it's over for them. I'm the one that's feeding their kids. I'm the one that's doing this, that, and the third. If I stop doing content tomorrow, they're all fucked. That's not even close to being true. First off, Girl World is bigger than fucking Amberlynn Reed and Chantel. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. On top of that, there is so much content from both of those idiots, older content, that someone could literally build themselves off of that for a few years, while the other potential death fats over there in that community, until the milk eventually matures, and then they can do something with it then. It doesn't work that way. And that's why Foodie's out here going to McDonald's late at night and shit, credit cards bouncing and whatnot. She's trying to scam her fucking community and shit to help her feed stray cats in Kuwait, even though she's taking money off the top so she can get more fast food because the YouTube check is dying out. I'll make a whole nother video on that later if you guys are interested. It's wild over there in Girl World. It's crazy what the grift is going on over there. And how is this guy right here going to call people grifters when you're literally a beggar? There's a difference between a beggar and a grifter. You're a beggar. You're below a grifter. If they're going to take people that are grifters and take them to jail, you're under the jail. So you're the worst of the worst. You're literally the bitch. Like, there's no getting around that. You're going to take it, no matter what, from everybody that's above you. And since you're in the bottom of the fucking barrel, there's a lot of guys that are going to line themselves up for that shit. Prison style, man. What the fuck? 23 hours a day type shit, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Kat didn't watch Locked Up Raw, so she know. The point being, given that she ain't sat there and gotten stuck in a closet on some demonic shit. Anyway, let me stop. That's me hitting load of bill. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Point being is that if you get rid of the quote unquote grifters, you're still fucked. No matter what. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. You're fighting uphill for no reason. Why? Why? I don't know. I'm gonna sit back and watch it anyway, though.
Literally helps no one but the grifters. Okay, I got a few more tips to shout out, and it's crazy. I mean, no lie, those communities are like cults. They've become 100% regurgitation. Here's what you do, right? Go to one of those restreams and watch whenever a meme appears. I do something that is a negative meme, and watch how literally every person on the stream becomes a fucking parrot.
How would you know that, first off foremost, too? I've been to my fair share of fucking restreams, and they all have their own memes on top of the universal memes that are basically known or that can be contributed to you. You're trying really, really hard to make it sound like there's no individuality here. I mean, there are people with a lot of adjacent personalities, to be honest with you. But you're going to see that in every community and whatnot. When people see something that's successful, they tend to emulate it, and eventually they'll try to make it their own. So that is what that is. I mean, DSP is doing the exact same thing, so who the fuck is he to talk? Semantics. The point being, though, is that how do you know this if you don't watch your detractors, trolls, haters, and critics? And if you have such a positive fan base that you're constantly trying to say that they don't engage in that bullshit, then how do you know? And why do you keep hiding that Discord? Makes you think. It's not like the Gouty Gestapo ever stopped. It's not like people don't get their videos flagged still. They just don't get taken down, or at least not as often. It's really weird for someone who's supposedly above it because he has a good life and he only cares about his wife, his declawed cat son, and his business. But yeah, he knows about what the opposition is doing at almost every given time. Of course, he's putting out misinformation, but semantics. I've done that too, so I guess it is what it is.
Or a sheep, and they're all repeating it, and it's like they're completely programmed to react in that way. It's fucked. It's legit fucked. Like, whoa, there's like 1,000 people on this stream and they're all crazy. They've all been programmed to react to that.
The funny thing is too, and I've said this before, him saying, calling those people crazy is dismissive, right? Because he really can't tell you why they're doing it, and or he doesn't want to sit there and explain to you what the root problem is. So it's easier just to call people crazy. It's easier just to be dismissive about it and just write it off. Then you don't have to explain anything. You can just say, oh, they're mentally fucked. Oh, okay. And then everybody just moves on with their day instead of addressing the actual root issue. But he can't do that because he is the root issue. He is the problem. He is the deficit. He's just mad that other people are profiting off of it.
When it happens, like, what on earth? Like, what is that? That's not normal human reaction and behavior. It's fucked. It's like you've been programmed and sensitized to react that way to that thing. Even when the memes don't make sense.
The memes don't make sense to you, but that's weird because if you watch the content, then you know what the meme is. So theoretically, it should make sense to you because you're saying right here, you absorb the content. Great screenshot, by the way. Here's the interesting part, though. This is really, really, I really want to try to put this into perspective. Give me a second. Now, let me actually hear this back real fast. Because now I might have an actual point within a point.
You're programmed and sensitized to react that way to that thing.
Got it. Okay. So let me give you an example. So you know how DSP has been bitching and complaining over the years that he wanted to play more JRPGs, but no one will support it. Or he wish he could play more retro games, but there's nobody to support it. He wish he could play this genre game, or he could do more independent games, or independent or indie titles, I should say, and so on and so forth. All these different genres that he would want to get in and actually play, but he won't play it because there's no support. What this idiot won't acknowledge is he's the reason why. He has sat there and spent all those years shitting on PC gaming. He sat there and spent all those years shitting on independent games that other people made crazy money off of. If he had gotten into Minecraft, Minecraft, what was the other one? Fortnite. He played it for a little bit, but he really didn't give it a real chance. He went in there with a fucking bias. And what's the other one? Not Warcraft. What's it called? Not League of Legends. I'm trying to think of what the game is now. It'll come back to me. But the point is that he shitted on all the things that he's mad about that people won't support in his own community. He has shitted on at one time or another. The point being is, ladies and gentlemen, is he's desensitized people to it. The people who were willing to support those things, they left. They picked up and left. It's bad enough that he made excuses on why he didn't want to play it. But then when he's just outright shitting on it, it's just like, all right, then, well, I'll just go somewhere else. And that's what some of them did. Or some of them chose to stay, but they were like, oh, well, Phil says it's bad, and then go ahead and lick the drool off their fucking mouth and shit. Then well, it's bad. And so they just gave up on it themselves. So now, years later, he tried to develop a market for it, and now he don't have it because he already killed it. Let me give you a good example, and let's continue on this fucking pig roast. Look at the situation with Kat. When he brought her in, she was still streaming, she was still making content. She gave up all of her social medias and whatever, stupid move, but whatever, she wants to do that, she wants to do it. But she was still theoretically in the process of doing content. He basically put the kibosh on that bullshit. And was like, nah, you don't make content no more, this, that, and the third, because they'll go through you to get to me. You know what I'm saying? You're just a pawn on my board, and they will easily get you up and out of the way so they can get closer to me. In turn, years later, when this idiot wanted to make content where he could exploit her, where he could co-op with her, fuck it, it's exploiting. He couldn't do it because there was no demand there. Cooking with the king and queen, dead. Doing co-ops, dead. Doing reviews, dead. Them going out and vlogging, dead. He killed all of those things. And then when years later he tried to find a demand for it, or try to drum up some interest, no one gave a shit. Those people either left, or those people are so fucking mindfucked that they don't give a shit. They're not going to support it though, but they don't give a shit. He killed it off himself. So he's going to talk about how people on this side of the fence are conditioning people to act and react to a certain thing. He's literally the crowning example of that, as well as the deficit of that type of behavior. He's literally the poster child of someone who's done that and then fucked around and found out. He's literally the example of that. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing if you think about it.
Even when the memes don't make sense, because there's memes they've made about me that legit are not factually true about anything, but they have repeated them to the point where now it's like we must
You mean how, like, it wasn't factually true that you were defending a pedophile? You mean like that? I'm just asking, just putting it out there. Or you lying to fucking Craig for 5 hours? Like, an answer is an answer? Like, that's a meme that goes around quite a bit. I know that for sure because I'm someone who has tried to push it. Because it's fucking wild when you think about that shit. Is that a meme? Is that factually incorrect? That you sat there and lied to someone for 5 straight hours? Then you try to shit on them in an interview later on? Then your bitch ass got on your fucking hands and knees and tried to crawl to Craig in his DMs to try to see if you could work something out, and Craig just left you on red. Sounds like bitch made shit if you ask me. But is that factually incorrect? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Bond this way when we see or hear this thing. It's like I must respond to the stimuli because I'm programmed that way, even though it doesn't make sense that you're doing it.
Well, it doesn't make sense to give you money and whatnot in large quantities when you're just going to turn around the next day and beg for even more. That doesn't make any sense. If you make $500 a day and the tip goal is $300, theoretically you shouldn't be coming up there like some panic crack addict looking for your next hit. I'm not saying that he shouldn't expect any money, but he shouldn't be acting like the world's going to end, let alone should he be asking to meet the exact same goal he met the day before. That don't make sense. And when excuse me, he has a system of being able to do that. The vest streak, for example, the current setup that he has for donations now, this, that, and the third, it's never going to be enough. And he's always going to figure out a way to fuck it up. And then he has to figure out a way to try to supplement it, to try to ease the pressure off of people while he himself becomes more and more paranoid. He's literally taking time off of his own life clock by stressing himself out over money that most of these people don't even have, to try to hit goals that really don't make sense, that don't really provide any value, and is not going to get him anywhere. You're slowly but surely killing your fucking wife because you don't want to spend any time with her, but you'll throw as much food as she can consume to appease her. How does that make sense? Is that what you think marriage is? I've seen your mother. I've seen Linda. Linda ain't fat. So explain to me how Dave could get it right, but you couldn't. Makes you think.
Did you ever see, like, the stories of people who've actually been programmed, brainwashed, and all of a sudden they'll react to something and they don't know why? Because they were brainwashed to react to it? That's how these people are. But they don't get it. And they don't understand that the people who brainwashed them are profiting on them every single moment. They're getting ad revenue. They're doing super chats. They're throwing the money. It's a cultish mental conditioning. They don't get it.
So let me get this straight. So they're not supporting the content because they like the person who's presenting it to them, and they don't like the transformative content that's being made. They do it out of spite for you. But aren't you the same person who has multiple times over multiple years engaged in the whole us versus them situation and narrative? It's funny because I need to make a video on this. DSP constantly says, I want you to support me for me. I want you to support me because you like me and you like the content. Don't do it despite my haters and trolls and shit. Then when we get deep into the weeds and tip goals aren't being hit, oh, well, you don't want to let the detractors get over on us, right? You don't want people like Duty, as DSP likes to say, to fucking go ahead and be able to make 5 or 6 more videos on me about how I didn't hit the tip goal and I raged out or I crashed out over it, do you? So please help support the goal. Please show them that we are supportive here. You guys do love my content. You do love me. You do care about what we're doing over here. And what we're doing is meaningful and it's a good thing. Has he not said that or a variation of that at one time or another? How is that not brainwashing? How is that not literally mental conditioning? I'll wait.
Okay. Like I said, I think, yeah, you have to understand something. Any single time that I bring them up, it's a full-on cope session where it's like a seller. Oh, he mentioned us and see, he said this, he said that. They're losers.
How are they losers, though? You shouldn't have acknowledged them in the first place. I can't fault any detractor, troll, hater, or critic taking a victory lap and shit. If you're dumb enough to let their name come out your fucking snout, you're the problem. You're giving energy and attention to someone that you shouldn't, and you continue to do so. So yeah, they should go ahead and do that. That fucking weak-ass Christian fucking sweater you're wearing. Damn, what's wrong with you? You don't know that shit's cursed? Anyway, someone should send him the Christian medallion. That's what they. Well, let me chill with that. Let me chill with that. Those things are fucking cursed. Holy shit. Fucking Mudahar, Nick Ricada, theoretically, Muhu the what's his name? Mumu the cow, Dick Masterson. And then you can just go down the line of fucking victims that shit had. Ethan Ralph. I mean, good God, bro, that shit is cursed. I believe in that wholeheartedly, and I understand how curses work. The more you believe in it, the more power you give it. But you can't tell me, given the track record, that shit's not cursed. Holy shit. But anyway, back to my point. If you didn't give him that attention, I mean, he's still going to make content on you regardless, so I guess you're fucked either which way. But you're sitting there trying to turn it to a negative when you're supposedly above all of it. And again, make it make sense.
But again, they're cult leaders. They are literal cult leaders who brainwash their viewership. So I'm not surprised. All right. You know what I need to do? So that's about a $5 tip. So we're at 99 bucks of support and we're about to play Dark Souls. Thank you guys.
Oh man. That shit was so much deeper than I thought it was going to be. Well, I made it deeper, honestly. And when back when Kat was flexible, I'm sure she would have appreciated that. Anywho, yeah, there's the madness, ladies and gentlemen, of apparently being a cult leader or being part of a cabal or a coalition of cult leaders. I don't know what to tell you. If you've ever felt like I've taken advantage of you in any way, shape, or form, like I said, you have better quality detractors out there, for sure. Obviously, your favorite detractor is obviously someone who's doing well. By all means, by all means, you have no reason to stick around and deal with people who you feel that are taking advantage of you. That doesn't make any sense. You're not a fucking DSP dent. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why there are so many detractors out there, so many active detractors out there. You know what I mean? You should never feel like you're stuck, you're obligated, you owe something, whatever. It's not a thing. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and finish this off with a nightcap. This isn't anything new. DSP says this every couple of years. It's no different, to be honest with you. And to be honest, in a couple more years, there'll be someone else that'll be the target. You know what I'm saying? It was, what was it? DSP Cult Leader. Then it was Evil AJ. Then it was SOK and Freddy. Then it ended up being Tevin. Then, I mean, Tevin theoretically had the longest reign, if you would think, out of all of them. I mean, there you go. I mean, theoretically, it's still Tevin. But you could go ahead and put that being said in there. To be honest, you could say that they were given the baton and they ran with it. I mean, to be honest, it's almost like he's trying to build Duty up to be that guy. So then he can throw all the folly on him and say, see, that's what the current Detractor community is like, and that's just not a thing. But whatever. Godspeed the DSP on that bullshit, whatever. Duty's going to sit there and make his videos just like everybody else, so it don't even matter. This, that, and the third. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I swear to you, I didn't think it was going to be this long. I didn't think so. I thought this was literally going to be a wham bam, thank you ma'am type situation. But, you know, just like DSP accused his parents of both cheating on each other, you know, sometimes you got to give it a little bit more time to marinate, I guess, in any case. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. For the Snort Report, as well as DSP News, I've been your host / anchor, GTG. Take care of yourselves, people. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Take care of yourselves, people. Don't be a dent. And catch you guys later, man.